Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, whenever you're watching or listening to the Good Living podcast. A few months ago, I posted an episode called The Rape Story. And then today, I heard a story that has made me change my plans.
This guy I don't learn the hard way. See, if I am not down, I'm not going to any man's house. I'm not meeting anybody in any indoor activity. See, if it is not an open space, fuck it. God. Do you know what was it? My mind I was scared. I have never been this scared in my whole life because the only thing that was coming to my head is that what if this guy should succeed? Baba pin me down. I'm not capping him. Baba hold my hands down, press me. He was so hard. He was his big prince. He was just see the only difference about I no open leg because I had to cross my legs tight and I was telling that if he doesn't let go, I'm going to scream. At that point I said that because I was like before then I was like please, 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 I don't want, please stop it before he was there just using his big prince to rub my thighs. I was
And first of all, I'm going to say there's this unwritten rule. If a guy and a girl or a man and a woman are talking and they're just vibing, if you guys decide to meet at somebody's house, one of you, either the man's house or the woman's house, sex is on the table. And you can say what you want, you can arrange what you want, you can think what you want, but sex is on the table. It just comes with it. It comes with the meeting, however you want to put it, right? And that being said, so she's been talking to this guy for years now, and she feels like she knows him, but they've never met because whenever he comes to the same town that she's in, or the other way around, she's always like reluctant to meet him, maybe lazy or whatever. So recently he came to town and he asked to see her. And because she's said no so many times, she was like, okay, she's going to say yes this time. And he suggested that they meet in his house. And she told him plainly that we're not going to have sex if I come to your house. So just scratch that off your mind. It's not going to happen. Please don't expect it. It's not going to happen. And she made it clear to him. And he said, no, 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 why would you think like that? Don't worry, don't worry. I just want to put a face behind the person I've been chatting with. I've not met you before. So, I mean, we should, you know. And I'm thinking the same thing. Why couldn't people just meet outside? But his house. So, yeah, she went. And everything was going well. They met and they were talking. And before you know, he started making advances towards her. And as she had already told him, she said, no, this is not going to happen. But he started being very physical and very aggressive and pressing her down. And then, she had to start begging. And the guy was even upset by that she was saying no. And she was begging, it was getting really, really tough and really physical. She was trying to open her legs, he was pinning her down and stuff like that, the way she described it. And she literally had to beg and tell him that she's going to scream for everybody to hear. And then I think that changed his mind, and then he released her a bit, and that was how she stood up and she literally ran out of the place. you know. So that was what happened to her. But this has made me open my eyes to something that women do suffer. From a man's perspective, if everybody wants to sleep with you and everywhere you go to people want to have sex with you, it seems like the dream life. But everything that happens, there should be moderation in everything we do. And if something happens too much, it becomes a problem. And I think it is real harassment and it's really disturbing for ladies if they cannot be seen as entities other than sex objects, and it is messed up for them. And I think they really do suffer in that regard because the risk of this happening, seeing that they are weaker vessels physically, and they have this thing that they have to deal with almost on a daily basis, you know. And I begin to think she was able to escape there, and she told me that it took the boat 4,000 naira. It took her to pay 4,000 naira before she could get a boat out of there. She had to do an offline ride. And I began to wonder certain things. How many people would have been raped in this manner? How many people, how many untold stories do we have of this manner? Because I am aware that this kind of thing happens a lot. Because the thing is, there are also situations where, of course, no girl is going to come to your house and then tell you, iron out, and then she'll bust it open for you and tell you, Ngwabanye. No, I think sometimes you have to really do some work before they open it. No, it's not. So they might really say no, because no means no, and like no, no, that means no. But no, now, come on now, what are you doing? No, that's not a fucking no. It's like, I'm just trying to make it. I want to do this too, but I want to make it difficult so you don't figure out that I'll perform this act with like 40 other fucking people. But aside that, I still think that there is a clear line between those two no's. And if you're mixing it up, you're just lying to yourself because whenever somebody doesn't want something, you would know. You understand? So I began to wonder how many people have had stories like this they did not tell me, or they didn't tell anybody about, even maybe because the relationship with the person they had that encounter with, or something like that. Now, the situation was this. I think she was strong enough to resist him enough for that not to happen. But there are people who are not strong enough to resist their um aggressors, and she had transport to leave. There are also people who do not have transport to leave. They might not have the vex money, and they might actually end up having sex with those people, or letting themselves get raped, because how else would they get home around 1 a.m. or 12 a.m.? You understand that? And that's really, really tough to think about. But one thing I know is that there are no exceptions to this rule. There are no exceptions to this rule, in the sense that once you have agreed to meet somebody in his house, like I said, text is on the table, and you can say what you want. You can pre-plan within yourself that nothing is going to happen. You can also inform the person that nothing is going to happen, and they might agree as well, right? But it doesn't guarantee it. So if it's on the table, it's already on the table. If you're agreeing to do that, just accept the fact that it's on the table. Not accept the fact that you're going to get raped, because that is wrong. You shouldn't be getting raped. But it's on the table and you cannot escape it. You cannot take the good and leave the bad when two of them are a package. So now, what do we do about this situation? I think you should report every story. So you should always have, first of all, if you're going to a man's house, whether you trust the person or you don't trust the person, if you're not somebody if you're not expecting to go there and do the deed, have your plan, have your vex money, your runaway money, because rapists are actually out there, right? For a while, I used to really think that there are still a lot of people who accuse people wrongly just to save face. I've had one of my friends has had that experience where I experienced the whole thing, and I said that I made that story. I told that story in that episode. When these kind of things happen to you, document as much as you can, right? So even if it means chatting with the person after the incident happens to get them to confess one way or the other, and document that, screenshot it. Because if you don't,
You gonna explain tire. You go explain because no evidence.
and then report it, tell somebody, even if it's one person, tell somebody, send that evidence to that person. Try as much as possible to get, even if it's somebody you want to protect, maybe because you still like the person, you don't want the person to go through certain, at least let somebody know this person is capable of this kind of thing, so that if they do something worse in the future, they won't get away with it then, even if you have a forgiving spirit, which I don't think you should have in this situation, Seth. And it's messed up. So ladies, please protect yourself at all times. Equip yourself with your own transport money, and if you really don't want to have sex with somebody, don't go to their house. Meet in a public place. If he's men sometimes they will prefer their house because they want you to they don't want to spend money, right? And then they invite you to their house. So if you don't have money, if he doesn't have money to like take you out, people should see another time. You can just simply say you're not comfortable. Nobody will beat you. They will not come to your house and rape you. You get. So I think that's the case. Thank you very much for watching this episode. See you later.